and welcome to BB Uncovered, an 80-year odyssey. I will be your host for today, and my name remains Tosin Adefeko. I'm the CEO of 83 Resources, the movement agency. With me today is Dr. Ken Onyeali-Ikpe, a consummate technocrat and expert in the marketing communication space. He was formerly the group CEO of Insight Redefini Group, the largest marketing communications and consumer consulting group in sub-Saharan Africa. It is a delight to have you today, Dr. Ken. And if I might add, Dr. Ken was my former boss. so I'm so excited to have you here with me today, Dr. Ken. I haven't seen you in quite a while. But today is about BB.
Yes.
And everyone that has been here has had such wonderful things to say about Dr. Biodun Shobanjo.
Yes.
And I cannot wait to hear your perspective.
Yes.
But let's take it from the beginning. Tell us your BB story. What is your BB story?
I'll try to summarize because it's an incredible journey and story I had with BB. And I'm talking of journey of 25 years. You know. So if there is one person who truly can lay claim to knowing Biodun Shobanjo, that would be
I
Dr.
totally
Ken,
agree.
you know, because 25 years is not a joke. So I know where the body is buried. I mean, the bodies are buried, so to say, you know. Now, we're talking about an incredible human being, you know, an incredible professional, incredible man. You see, what makes people great is not just because they acquire greatness, but what they make of themselves when opportunities fall on their laps. And BB is one of those kind of stories. It has the three qualities which most men don't even have one. And what are those qualities? I mean, it has intellectual curiosity, contemporary relevance, and classical elegance.
Dr. Ken, I've always known you with this one. You have to take those three again. I've not even sunk in the first one.
Yes.
Intellectual curiosity.
Yes.
What is the second one?
Contemporary relevance.
Okay. I'm going to make you break them down.
Yes. And classical elegance.
Classical elegance. I love that.
Yes.
But I think I know what you're referring to. Something to do with the bow tie. But let me let you break it down. Go ahead.
Yes. So, you see, a man is not complete when you are not intellectually curious. It's not enough that you have intellect or you have intelligence, because by quotient, that intelligence could be 8/10. But what do you do with it, and how are you able to bring it to 4 to the things you do, whether it's at family unit, whether it's in community, whether it's at sub-regional or national or even entity, how that impacts on substances or people, as the case may be. So he has that. So he was able to develop his intellect, and even areas where he saw that there were gaps. Biodun Shobanjo has the ability to hire that gap. So, and that comes with a lot of humility, you know, because he had the best people.
Of course.
Biodun Shobanjo surrounded himself with the best people ever.
I mean,
all
just
the time.
On that point, just to interrupt you before you go ahead, I remember when I was reading your profile, there was something you said that you were the first PhD holder, or the third in the system.
Third, yes.
The third, and the only manager to move from manager to the group CEO of the group.
Yes.
So, I mean, just in line with what you're saying about the fact that he had to have that humility.
He has the humility,
Yes.
but he has the confidence. It's you know, one thing is to have the humility, another one is not to be timid about it, to have the confidence to say, you know what, I am the owner of this business and you can add serious value to this business. So
Love it.
come, let's work together. So Biodun Shobanjo had that. So that if you don't have capacity, gravitas, you wouldn't be able to do that. So Biodun Shobanjo middle name should have been gravitas, you know, so because he had the gravitas. Now, contemporary relevance is that you have curiosity, intellectual curiosity, but how relevant is it to today's knowledge? So he always, even though he's going to be 80, but he has a new knowledge that can equate that of a 40-year-old man or even less. So he's contemporarily relevant, you know. So there is no subject on earth Biodun Shobanjo cannot discuss the new version of it. And he's 80. So you wonder what kind of man maintains that kind of relevance from time to time. So that's where contemporariness comes in. Then is he classically relevant? I mean,
Elegant.
He has classical elegance, you know, because there are no sometimes moments. Biodun Shobanjo is a big, strong brand. It's a premium brand. And what do premium brands do? They deliver with ruthless consistency.
That's a powerful statement. I love
So
it.
it's a bundle of benefit, and Biodun Shobanjo delivers on promise, and that promise he delivers with ruthless consistency. So that's where the elegance comes in.
Wow. I mean, we're just 10 minutes into the podcast and I don't even know where to take this further to. That was such a wonderful description of Dr. Bibi.
Yes.
But tell me, what do you admire most about his character and his personality?
He is one of the very few Nigerian men who do not have relaxed relationship with the truth.
Oh God, Dr. Ken is killing me. Relaxed relationship with the truth. I'm going to keep interrupting him so he breaks it down. Please take that. Explain that.
So he says it as it is. He's factual.
I love it.
He doesn't say it and leave you to go and interpret what he's saying. So that is what Biodun Shobanjo says. And he doesn't quite, sometimes he can hurt the business, he can even hurt him, but he will tell you the truth. He will tell the business the truth, and it speaks truth to power. You know, so that's what the first time I saw him in 1995, he looked at me and he said, you know what, you can go places, but you have to put in the shift and you have to keep your side of the bargain. And we had a handshake. And for 25 years, he kept his side of the bargain and my leg was on the throttle. So he is a man who has a fantastic relationship with the truth. The truth, that relationship is not relaxed at all.
I think there's actually no better way to describe Bibi. You were right when we started, when you said you are the best person, because this, I mean, I've experienced him. So what you just said is, I wrote it in my own, when we're doing the tribute, that Dr. Bibi, he will say everything as it is, and you can't but appreciate that in a person, isn't it? But let's go into the marketing industry. And you're, very well known in that industry as well. But what impact do you think Bibi has on that industry? It might seem a bit obvious, but tell us what we don't know.
Well, it's obvious, but because it is enigmatic when it comes to Bibi. So, and that's where the contemporary thing comes about. You wonder, what he brought to the market in the 80s is different from what everybody could bring. When it was the turn of the decade, 90s, he brought something different. In fact, the word marketing communications, I think, should be associated with Bibi. Because when we started, it was advertising, isn't it? And what is marketing communication? The specialist areas of advertising, if you isolate them and build competencies around them, then it becomes a chain. And that chain is marketing communication that delivers the brand building process. So that is how marketing communication. So everybody now says marketing communication, but I remember vividly that it was actually Bibi's initiative. Don't forget that Bibi created the first media independent company.
I do know that. Yes.
How do you associate a security company and a marketing company, for example? So Bibi created Halogen, but Halogen is not a security company. It's a service company in the area of security. And that's why Halogen is what it is. So he created value out of every potential capability space in the advertising chain. And that's translated to marketing communications.
Wow.
And the last 10 years, what has happened in that group? I can tell you with authority that Bibi supervised us to build the only truly Nigerian multinational. I can claim that because
within marketing, when you say the only truly Nigerian
multinational,
within marketing,
yes, and the emphasis is Nigerian multinational.
Within marketing or generally speaking?
Generally speaking, because the Troika Group is a multinational, and the standards, the deliverables of every multinational that are foreign that we've inherited in this country cannot beat the standards Insight and Troika has in place. And it's 42 years. How many Nigerian businesses have lasted 42 years? And today we are talking about sustainability. He's talking about transformation. And the business has always reinvented itself. And I'm happy you said consumer consulting space, because today that group is no longer advertising, it's no longer marketing communication, but it's a consumer
consulting group,
advisory business.
Fantastic. Okay, I know we're trying to chronicle his life and his career and his achievements and all of that, but I feel nostalgic, like, because he's no longer actively in the space. What would we have seen? Can you just sort of like almost like conjecture, what would be a BB in the AI and digital age of today? What do you think he would have contributed in this whole new world that we find ourselves?
I wish he wasn't 80, even though I congratulate him for that. I don't see him as 80 years old. I see Bibi every other because I like to have breakfast and I like to share, because every moment you share with Bibi is a blessing.
Yes.
But he has a Midas touch. So if he was like 30 today and we're discussing artificial intelligence, he would have been a vanguard.
It's
That I
funny
can
you say
tell you.
that because I actually quite agree with
he
you.
would have been.
He would
have led the
literally go and
process.
research
Yeah.
and start to.
Yes, and areas where he knew or he identifies requires people who are going to run the relay race. He would have put the team together to deliver that.
Amazing. That's amazing. So, I mean, especially for our young listeners, the youth and all that, let's speak to values because now we're going into a legacy conversation.
Yes.
And I know you've talked a bit about his values and who he is, but just, spell out some values that you feel like anyone listening would, should emulate. Yes.
Now, let me speak to it as if I was speaking to business, so that young people can commit it to memory. Now, if you when I see BB, I see the balance sheet, and every balance sheet has two sides. It has the competence page, and the right hand side it has eulogy. So the competence page has qualification, it has capabilities, competence, technique, skill sets, so on and so forth. The right hand side has eulogy, and one word in that eulogy is integrity, character. So most people are very strong on the left hand side of the balance sheet
and then fall short
on this. So BB has both, and that is why he is what he is, because he has very strong principles, character. And when I talk about character, it's not good or bad. I don't describe people as good or bad people, but what I look out for is consistency.
Wow. Am I the only one going through a spiritual moment? Continue.
Yeah, so he has that consistency. So that is the balance sheet. And you know what? If you fold that balance sheet and keep it away, you now ask, when you make interaction with people, you ask, can you describe the BB's balance sheet? You can easily describe and embrace it because he has a large dose of goodwill on his balance sheet. Wow. And if he converts that goodwill, 10% of it, then generations after him will still benefit. And they're still benefiting today. A lot of people open the doors by just saying, I know Biodun Shobanjo. And the door will be open. But the question is, when that door is opened, can you deliver to the standards expected of your Biodun Shobanjo brand? That's where people struggle. Because he has created, when I mean create, not like God, but he has cloned a lot of people in the last 40 years. People have tried to emulate him. People have tried to do the things. But how many people have been successful? How many people are 10% of what Biodun Shobanjo is? Because it's a difficult task to follow. Because that balance sheet requires way balancing. It's difficult to manage it.
Okay, let's go a little into the, other side of the conversation. Because we've been talking about him, it all looks perfect and dandy. There must be some things about him. Let's make him, feel this conversation from another perspective. Yes. What challenges? You worked with him for 25 years. Tell us a story. This has to be a story. Yes. What kind, challenges, setbacks can you share with us?
I think the biggest challenge for me is that those who are not super gifted in terms of capacity, and I'm talking, when I talk capacity, what comes to my mind is the motor car. If you look at the tires of cars or the wheels, some of them are 13 rim, we have 15 rims, we have 17 rims. Okay. If you're a 13 rim, it will be difficult to work with Shobanjo. If you know what I mean.
Totally.
So I think you get lost in the process. You get lost in the relay race, and you will not be able to maximize your potentials. So the good thing is that because he creates leaders, you'll be tucked in with the leaders who can maximize your potential, but he would know that you have a ceiling. So he sees the people selling early, but he gives you what you can manage. So for some people, it's percentage of people feel though that is an advantage. That is a big thing. But for other people, that is quite limiting because it can be ruthless.
Yes. So you want to share one story of, because I want him to remember, just to recall, because we're uncovering show, BB, Dr. Show. I want him to recall one moment when he, exhibited one of those kind of decisions.
You see, BB hires you with a lot of pleasure, but he discharges you with a lot of pleasure. So that's the ruthlessness. So, but the good thing is that no matter the stage at which point you exit, you would have collected enough in terms of knowledge, in terms of capability, in terms of skill set, that if you can translate that to your own space and levels in terms of the rim I talked about, you will still be successful in your own space. So that's how I will put it. Not very many people with BB, because of the standards they give, can achieve the very big highs they envisioned it, or the kind of dreams they think they can dream. They are allowed to dream.
That's amazing. I mean, I could keep talking to you the whole morning, but we all know that we have limited time. But before I let you go, Dr. Ken, I want you to share his ultimate legacy. What is BB's ultimate legacy? How do you think he will be remembered in the years to come?
He's a value creator.
I love that.
BB, again, I talked about premiumness. I talked about, it's a bundle of benefits. BB will be remembered, and he is incredible. How did Nigeria benefit from that gift from God to put all that in one man? And then, for the sake of Nigeria, I mean, if we could just look at the life of BB and begin to construct leadership in that space, I mean, in the context of leadership, to just look at one of the qualities and how he manages himself and manages people, keeps relationships. BB does not care if you're Chinese, or
That's
if
so
you're
true.
a PBO, if you're a Jebu. He doesn't give a hoot about that. What he sees is the human being in you. So the legacy he will keep, I mean, what I wish for BB is that we find perpetuity in everything he desires. And to some extent, Insight has achieved that. But what is important is that dream, Insight, that is glowing, must never die. We must find
never die.
perpetuity in Insight.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ken. This has been a most valuable, most interesting conversation. But before I let Dr. Ken go, I think we should take the next few minutes. You can have the mic, and the camera is on you, to wish him a happy birthday in your own words, whatever you want to say to him.
Yes, Dr. Biodun Shobanjo, happy birthday, 80th birthday. I can't believe you're 80, because I was there when it was 50, when it was 60, 70, and now 80. You're going to make 90, and it's going to be a 90 of bliss. You will continue to be strong, and in vitality and good health. All the best, Biodun Shobanjo.
Thank you, Dr. Ken. It was a very fantastic 20 to 25 minutes with Dr. Ken. You can't buy this kind of conversation in the market. So please follow us, like, share. We're coming back with so much more on the Movement Studio. Thank you for listening.